Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten Sinclair, and I'm an assistant teaching professor in the Masters of Educational Transformation program here at Georgetown. I teach classes primarily in the Advocacy and Policy concentration, and I also coordinate the residency program for the Advocacy and Policy concentration. I'm so thrilled that you're thinking about applying for our program, and I'm here to share a short video in which I'll tell you a little bit more about who we are, what we're about, and what you might expect as an advocacy and policy student. I would encourage you to keep track of any questions you have and feel free to reach out at any time. So what is Ed Transformation? We're a graduate program at Georgetown. We've been around for about 7 years. In addition to advocacy and policy, we also offer teaching licensure. And we're really designed for students who are interested in making sure that all children have what they need to thrive in life, whether that be from the classroom perspective, community perspective, policy perspective. And we're really focused on building in our students the knowledge, skills, and competence to transform education. We also are all about experiential learning, which is our residency model. So what do we stand for? We have some core commitments that are really important to our program and that you will see in all of our coursework and sort of everything that we do. So one is in stress on systemic thinking. Another is a commitment to asset-based, culturally and linguistically relevant and sustaining education, and really that focus on the whole child. And I will say that plays out both in our coursework and how we think about education and how we think about our graduate students as well. We're also really deeply committed to anti-racist education as a central component of social justice. It's a theme through all of our classes and something we always think about when it comes to our residency placements. And finally, one of the things I think really sets us apart is this anchor in experiential learning and research, and really thinking about knowledge and action as a way of building skills through the residency programs. So what does the program look like? We're a 12-month intensive program. You'll take 30 credit hours or 10 courses over 12 months. We start in July, right after 4th of July, and we wrap up the following end of June. So this is a pretty broad overview of what the program will look like. I will also add that during the fall and spring semesters, you will work in a residency placement, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. And we also have these really wonderful professional development speaker series events where we bring in scholars, policymakers, community folks, teachers, young people to talk about key issues, and those happen a couple of times each semester. So in terms of the advocacy and policy concentration, we really take a broad view on what counts as education policy. And so we think about how big P policy at the federal and state level, as well as local policy, and what is happening in our schools. And we're thinking about recognizing and navigating obstacles and opportunities to transforming the policies and structures of education. So we have 2 core courses that all students in both concentrations take together. And then there's 8 classes that are specific to advocacy and policy. And again, you'll spend the fall and spring semesters with a residency placement organization that we have a lot of lovely partnerships with great organizations across the city, which I'll talk more about in a minute. So here's our coursework. So in the summer, the green boxes are the 2 courses that folks take with both learning and teaching concentration, which is our teacher preparation program, and advocacy and policy students. So you see that happens on both ends of the program, which I think is a really exciting bookend to your coursework. In this first summer, in addition to culturally relevant education and social justice, you'll also take critical empirics, which sets you up really well with important perspective and knowledge when you go into your residencies. So in the fall and spring, there's a residency course that spans both semesters. It's really designed to support your work in your residency placements, both through providing you opportunities to debrief and talk about what you're learning, as well as build some of the skills and professional development that you need to be successful. In the fall, you'll also take policy analysis in education and data analysis in education. And then in the spring, you will take organizational change in education and intergovernmental relations and accountability in education. Wrap things up in the spring, learning design and assessment policy, and again, your other capstone course that you take with the learning and teaching folks. So in terms of your residency placement, in around pretty much like May and June, leading into your year with Ed Transformation, I start sort of what's called a facilitated matching process, where I start to try to connect you with some of our partner organizations or help you find another place on your own that you would like to use for your residency placement. And so, like I said, we have a wide range of organizations we partner with. This list right here is just some of the places folks have worked over the last several of years. So you can see that it ranges from government organizations, community groups, advocacy groups, think tanks, nonprofits who look at policy from a number of different levels. And so I will also say that since it is a year-long internship residency experience, you really have some wonderful opportunities to get to know the folks you're working with and do really meaningful, substantial work. Folks oftentimes have blog posts or op-eds that they get out of their work as well. So if this still excites you, you probably already know a little bit about the application process. The final deadline is coming up soon. It's April 1st. And there's just a quick checklist of the things that you need. There's an online application, statement of purpose, where you really tell us about why you're interested in this program and why you're a good fit for it. Your resume, there's a writing exercise that we're asking you to do. So it's a little bit different than your usual writing sample. We're also asking for transcripts and 3 letters of recommendation, as well as an English language proficiency exam if your undergraduate degree is outside of the US. So that's a little bit more about our program. I hope this answered some of your questions and got you excited about potentially joining us in the summer. If you have any questions, please respond to this email. I'd be happy to answer them or set up a time for us to talk further. Thank you so much.